Welcome guys to Dogs of War YouTube channel. Today we got Warpack review of Gift of the Ethereals.
This is your brand new second Conquest pack in a month.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Thank you, FFG. We love getting packs at a reasonable rate.
And the rumor is we're getting 2 more in February. So.
Yeah. Really?
Yep. Maybe.
Wow, there's only 4 weeks in that month. That's crazy.
Crazy.
It's madness.
We have Tree,
Yes, sir.
me, Jesus, and Angelo.
How you guys doing?
So let's start off the bat.
All right, this is the guy we've all been talking about so far for this blog. This is Anshi. He is the Tower Warlord. 2 attack, 7 health, 7 resources, 7 card hand size starting out. He's a soldier, he's an ethereal. His text is, this is on the good side, on the bad side he's bloodied and sad-faced, but each Tau unit you control at this planet gains Armor Bane. Forced reaction, after this warlord resolves its attack, move it to your HQ. This guy's huge. Completely different from Commander Shadowsun, who is all about attachments. This guy is all about hitting really hard, and then he bugs out the second he takes a swing. Which means that you no longer have the question, oh, my warlord's here with 3 or 4 guys, I've got initiative, do I retreat or do I take a swing and take a beating? Nope, now you do both. You swing and hit someone real hard, no shield's going to save anybody from that, and then he runs away. I think he's fantastic. You also want him to stick around if you have multiple guys there. The biggest deck we've seen people talk about and play with this guy is range units plus Anshi is dead dudes and dead warlords.
So he's good. I will play the devil's advocate here real fast and say my only concern about him is simply the fact that he is so good because of what Armor Bane actually does that they're going to be hard pressed to print another warlord that's going to take his place for quite a while. Because the ability to walk into a fight and say, I'm going to ignore one of the core mechanics of the game, which we've seen in any game we've ever played, is hugely game-breaking to a large extent sometimes.
And I think that's why he had to have the forced reaction run away, because that way, no matter what, you're only getting this for the first round of combat unless you've got a trick. And there are tricks, but they're not in the signature squad. We'll put that in front of the mic.
But the problem with it is that even in the first round of combat with the right cards, your opponent's not going to have anything left on the board anyways at that point.
Yeah, that's the hope.
And
the hope is they don't come out of the range phase alive.
Sure.
So, but
and I mean, even with the other Tau cards, you have the Fireblade guys who can just sit there and protect him, so he can stay at the planet even longer for the first round.
Yep.
So I mean, there's some really, really good support for Tau to do that. So it's going to be interesting how you continue to print more Tau Warlords in the future and say the ability has to be better than I'm just going to give everybody Armor Bane, which is just bending the game.
They'll need to make someone who's like a staying power type warlord. I think Shadowsun is not really a staying power warlord either. He wants to be there when he wants to commit, and he doesn't really want to stick around too much longer because he's handed out his free war gear. He's won you initiative, assuming you're at the right planet and doing the right thing. And then he kind of wants to not be there so he can keep his ability to give you free attachments and keep you winning, and keep you safe from losing the game by Warlord.
Agreed.
Whereas Anshi kind of wants to be in the thick of it pretty much all the time. And I think actually the real balance to this guy is going to be, I think you're like as they go along. I think other Tau unit you may not be able to beat this as a Warlord power, but I think they'll get better signature squad cards.
Yeah, his signature squad is a little.
Yeah, I find it a little lacking, but again, it comes with such a strong guy. Like I'll happily put 8 crappy cards in my deck. Actually, it's really like 5 crappy cards, I think, or maybe even 4, to get him leading my deck.
Yeah. Eric, we just finished a tournament yesterday. And Eric was piloting that warlord.
The Tau Eldar.
Yep, he went undefeated throughout the whole Swiss round, but. Again, Eric can grab any deck and be undefeated, so he's a very good player. And I was talking to him about it, and the biggest weakness for him is matchup-wise is Space Marines. With the Domino and Iron Halo can prevent that. So now he wasted his attack action to do nothing, and now his guy's out of the picture also. Also, the biggest thing with him is staying power. When you build a deck with him, you have to remember to put units that will stay in the planet. He was having a problem with people going outside and triggering battles in other planets to move his stuff away from back to HQ, which makes him then susceptible to doom, more often. So he is strong, but he's not right off the bat, I'm going to play and I'm going to dominate. You need to know what's your weakness and build your deck to cover those weaknesses.
One other important note: he drops to a 1 attack and 5 health on the bloodied side, so you really don't want to get him bloodied.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible for him to get bloodied, though. I mean, you just strike with him first if that's going to be the case, and just send him home if you had to.
Range is bad.
Sure.
Yeah. So
that was Anshi, and thank you for I'm so happy to hear that we actually have practical experience with this guy already.
Yeah.
I was actually going to play him yesterday, and at the last minute I decided not to. So
I built the deck. I just haven't played it yet.
Okay, I have his signature squad is 1 cost army, Ethereal Envoy, 1 command, it's loyal. Well, I guess it has to.
Well, it's a
signature squad. Soldier Ethereal, 1 strength, 3 toughness, 3 health. Force reaction after this unit resolves an attack, move it to HQ. Same thing. 1 attack is I agree with what Tree and Angelo said. They're not the strongest,
I think it's cool the fact that you got they're different than a lot. They're a lot of other signature squads have a soldier to them. These guys feel like command guys.
Yeah. And they're 1 cost, which is the only thing I like, and they could easily grab command. But just be careful when your opponent starts triggering battles where they are at, just to make him go away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This next up is Anshi's Sanctum. This is a 2-cost support. It's a location. And it has the action, exhaust this support to ready a target unit at a planet with 1 or more ethereal units you control.
This is how you kill warlords.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why this is good. I mean, readying a character that's already struck or has moved in from HQ is not a bad option, ever. I mean, there's not a lot to be said about it. I mean, I think the obviousness is on the face of the card. It's not a tricky card. It's not a how do I use this card. It's
swing twice with your range units before your opponent gets to do anything.
Pretty much.
That's I think the biggest use for it is a Stingwing with an ion rifle just gets to shoot for 6 with Armor Bane if your Warlord's in the right place. Yeah. And that's huge.
So the one thing I want to touch on about Armor Bane real quick that it actually kind of does matter before we move on to the rest of this is the one downside to Armor Bane is you're not stripping the shield icons out of your opponent's hand, and those shield icons are usually on events that your opponent wants to play anyways. Yep. And that is the one tough part, right? So when you're playing into Space Marines, for example, and you're saying that's my hard matchup for this, well, part of the reason it's a hard matchup is they're not using things like Drop Pod Assault or the other cards that they have to shield their warlord or shield those characters they want to keep on the board. They're like, well, screw it, I can't shield it anyways. I'm just going to use these cards to punch you back in the face once all your guys have ran home.
Yep.
And that is his probably one biggest weakness is the simple fact that you can't strip those events out of your opponent's hand, or the attachments for that matter, too.
Yeah. All right, up next we have the Honor Blade. This is still part of the signature squad. This is a 1-cost attachment. It's got 3 shields, like all the good attachments do in the signature squads. It's war gear and it's a weapon. It says attached to an ethereal unit, so this can attach to Anshi or the 4 guys in his signature squad. There's also another 1 or 2 ethereal units out there. Attached unit gains, quote, each other Tau unit you control at this planet gets +1 attack. So obviously the best place you want this is probably on Anshi, just because it's the unit with the most staying power. But on the 1/3 guy, it's not horrible either. If he's going to be buffing, your warlord or someone else. And it doesn't require them to be untapped, so they can, once they get stuck back with your warlord, they can move in with your warlord.
Well, the nice thing, too, is we have ambush platforms, so you can just ambush us in the middle of a fight and say, oh, you thought those guys were all 1s? Now they're 2s.
Yeah, now they're 2s, and they're sticking around.
Yep.
Oh.
Not much to say, it's pretty solid.
I got Ethereal Wisdom, 0-cost event, tactics, action until the end of the phase. Target Tau unit you control gets +1 attack and gains Ethereal trait. I think it's a weak one compared to the other ones.
It turns on other cards in the. It turns on the location in the signature squad if you're not at a location with your warlord, which might be a surprise to your opponent if they're trying to duck your warlord.
Yeah. And problem is I'm assuming eventually as we get more ethereals, you can eventually have maybe an ethereal deck.
Or something that revolves around, or some other benefit to having ethereal.
Not obsolete, but you still get +1 attack for 0.
Well, I think the ethereal trait being granted is the key part on that card. That tells you right there that they're planning on saying there's going to be a reason why you're going to want an ethereal at a planet to trigger some ability.
We already have Kallion Strike, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you can all of a sudden you give a dude ethereal, and then you play Kallion Strike to move him into a combat.
Yeah.
Or away from a combat, I guess.
All right, next up,
not the strongest card.
We've got the first of the Space Marine cards. This is White Scars Bikers. It is a 3-cost army, it has 1 command, it is a 2/3, it's a soldier, and it is of the White Scars chapter. This unit gains +2 attack while it is at a planet with a warlord. Important to note, it is any warlord, it does not have to be your own Space Marine warlord or the enemy warlord.
It's better when the enemy warlord
It is better when the enemy warlord is there. Again, this card at face value, you can just take it for what it is. It is a pretty cost-efficient hitter that has a command icon and gains some extra damage when you want to go punch a warlord in the face. Seems like Ragnar, for example, would really like this card, but I mean, I think it's a solid drop into most Space Marine decks. So
it's good. It's not loyal, so they could be splashed.
Yeah.
For
IG can play
IG.
That's a soldier, so yeah.
Also, I'm so happy if FFG is picking like the redheaded stepchild factions of chapters.
and
like White Scars, you never really plays White Scar.
Well, I've actually seen people play White Scars back in the day for 40k.
Back in the day.
Now because they crack out stuff too quick. But basically, the whole deal with this chapter is they didn't have foot troops. All they had was bikers and the vehicles. Yeah. Which is kind of cool because all you see in the picture is bikers and vehicles.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised traded-wise this isn't a soldier White Scar vehicle almost.
Because bikes are troopers still.
Oh, are they in the game?
Yeah. They're seeing troopers as having a toughness stat versus an armor value.
Oh, okay.
So bikes had a toughness stat.
But I think it's good. It's good for most of the time it'll be 4/3.
Yeah.
For 3, pretty
it's a 2/3 that you can turn into a 4/3 at your basically at will.
Yeah, I mean you just dump them on the planet your opponent wants to take and go. You want to really put your warlord there?
And then you add a dog to it. Hits it for 2.
And the thing is, the +2 attack while at a planet with a warlord is something every faction seems is getting in this block, and all of them seem pretty damn solid.
I think it's a theme.
Is this me?
Yep.
Number one. Number 1 event. No, it's a 1-cost event. Has 1 shield. That's where all the ones come from. No fear. The Space Marines no fear. It's a tactic and a maneuver. As a deploy action, exhaust your warlord to move up to 3 Space Marine units, army units from your HQ, each to a different planet. Screw you, Doom. Suck it, Doom. Suck it, Eldar.
That's the first thing I saw.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind on it. Is that and Exterminatus? Exterminatus doesn't hit HQ, does it?
No.
Okay. So yeah, suck it, Doom. Basically, if you've got the initiative, you play this to get your HQ guys the hell out of HQ against Eldar, Dark Eldar, or Tau.
Well, it's not only that, but you can commit them to
they have to
back to a planet that you have initiative on, which is fantastic.
They have to go to 3 different planets.
True, but I mean, think about how many times that you have your little. I don't play Space Marine enough to memorize all the troops, but your little 1 command icon guys that ended up stuck on the first planet that now have gone back to HQ and really aren't going to be viable the rest of the game because they're really just there to take command.
You want your Blood Angels veterans not being tapped for the first round of combat when they chase your warlord somewhere. You do that. You send them to the planet you intend to commit to. Ideally, you're sending other stuff to other places, so you're not telegraphing your commit. And actually, you may not even want to commit to that the planet you want to commit to this turn because your warlord is tapped.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of in this block, like we've seen Daka. There's Daka in this pack.
No.
That was in the previous pack. Okay, sorry, it all blurs. But
I'm liking it that the tap your warlord is a cost.
Yeah,
now.
muster the guard, Daka. All of these are really strong effects. And all have a reasonable cost, except for the part where you tap your warlord, which always feels hurt. But
it doesn't, because a lot of the warlords don't have abilities that need to be active by them being standing or something.
No, but it means they can't run away.
They can't run away. They lose the ability to trump command.
Yeah, the trump command is usually the big thing that they lose.
Exactly, which is awesome.
Other thing is, it lets you play a very aggressive first turn. If I have this in my hand, I'm going to deploy on the first planet, be very aggressive on it, try to win it, then play this next turn to put them in planet 2, 3, and 4.
Unless you're playing against Eldar. Yeah. In which case they nullify that and you go. And then you get doomed. And
Eldar is
one of those you got to plan around that nullify, which they may or may not have.
Yeah.
But
they either kneel their warlord or the one unique character they have to trigger it.
But you're kneeling your warlord for that.
Exactly. So I mean,
not really a loss.
So I got 0 cost event, Crushing Blow, tactics, reaction. After Space Marine unit damage, an enemy deal 1 unpreventable damage to that enemy unit. Solid.
I think what this does, this card negates a 1-point shield. Is exactly what it does. Because so many times your opponents, you're like, I'll swing for 4 on that 4 health guy, and your opponent's like, okay, shield for 1, I'm still alive, and you say, cool, Crushing Blow, actually kill him.
Yeah.
Like, and it's unpreventable, so they can't reshield it and any of that
That's
nonsense.
solid.
Next up, we're going into IG. This is Mystic Warden, 0-cost army. He's a Psyker. He's a 2/2, and his forced reaction is after a battle at this planet ends, sack this unit. This is a free. I'm gonna go punch you for 2 damage and kill him. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he really is.
Yeah, and
He has no command icon,
if your
so
opponent strikes this guy, he's wasting his time because he's going to die anyway.
Yeah.
But you have to, otherwise the battle never ends.
No, and you want to kill him because if the battle goes for 3 or 4 rounds, you want this guy hitting you for 2 every single time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's solid, very good, I think. Does he have the good? No, he doesn't have the good
No.
keywords.
No good keywords, no command icon.
Yeah.
But he's free.
plus his sack is at the end of the battle, so there's a lot of things you can't trigger with him in IG. So that
However,
are
you can-
meaningful.
However,
anyways.
we have seen the Inquisitor guy coming up, so you can like swing with him and then sack him to get +3 attack,
Sure.
knowing that he's going to die anyway.
Yes, true.
Up next, we have 2 arms. This is a 0-cost event. It's got 2 shields on it, so guard's picking up another 2 shield card. That's good. It's loyal. It's a tactic and says action. Ready a target support card.
As
Astra
somebody-
Militarum loves their support cards.
As somebody who hates playing against them, I hate this card. As anybody who plays as them, you'll see it in every deck.
Yeah, I think it's a 3-of guaranteed because it's free. It's a 2 shield. Why would you not play this? Like this replace like in my guard deck, this is going to replace Bodyguard, which is just there to be 2 shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have a card that actually has a practical effect. Being able to use was it Catachan Outpost twice,
Yep.
yeah, twice in a row to all of a sudden be like, hey, this guy's got +4 attack.
Rock Creep Bunker
Or
and absorb
Bunker,
2
Rock
yeah.
Creep
damage.
to take 2. There's just so much there's so much you can do with it. It gets better with every support card that taps that comes out.
And as we've seen in other games, any ability to untap a location card
Yes.
is
Very
the
powerful.
potential to be broken at some point in time in the game.
Yep,
You know,
it will win you games.
so, solid.
You get the one.
Oh,
made
and it's
up
not
for
loyal,
it.
so Orc Cannon.
Yeah, it is. It's loyal.
Oh, is it
Oh,
loyal?
loyal,
Oh, okay.
okay.
But Orc Cannons can still be played in Astra Militarum, right?
Yes, it can.
Yes.
So, I mean, there you go. I can do
So
2
you can
damage with
Orc
Orc
Cannon
Cannon
twice,
now.
yeah.
I mean, that's even better.
And support cards are coming more and more and more.
Well,
and we always know that signature support cards are very, very strong.
That too. I didn't think
you know,
those.
and so being able to use them twice.
Well, and guard's big thing seems to have been support early on.
Okay.
They get cards that dump support cards into play. They got more support. It felt like they got more support cards than anything else in the core set. So it's just.
And
it seems
what
like their
makes
thing.
this card the strongest, not just the ability or the cost, is the 2 shields.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The 2 shields, because you're gonna have 2 shield stuff. So this is just all around
Like I said,
good.
I used to run Bodyguard for no reason other than
Exactly.
it was a 2 shield card.
Drawing from previous game experience real quick, I will say the one caveat to that card is I wish they'd made it limited. Because we know how broken that will eventually become by being able to untap some things.
But it's a one-time triggered effect. You're
Unless you
trading
have 2
a
or
card
3 in your
for it.
hand. And that's the problem, right? That's where things become broken, is the
Right.
moment you can start either recurring it out of your discard pile, or the moment you can play multiples in one
No,
turn.
We've seen almost 0
Agreed.
graveyard recursion. in this.
Yes.
But when Thrones first came out, there wasn't either, and then all of a sudden...
They always add it later
yeah.
on. So that was you.
FFG, watch out for that. Don't let me do it too many times.
Yes.
Don't let me duplicate my actions, damn it. Honorifica Imperialis.
Yes, 2 cost attachment, 2 shields,
Always give you
armor,
the
war gear award attached to the army unit. While at a planet with a warlord, enemy warlord, attached unit gains armor bane and range.
So good. It's so good.
It's loyal.
Amazing.
Yay, loyal.
Put this on Acadian Mortar Squad and say, have a nice day.
Put it on your non-ranged units.
Yep.
That's true, too. But Armor Bane on anything is just...
It's
You want to put armor band on a on a one attack thing? I want to put this on the conscripts that have
Yes,
that say, "Oh look,
true.
I have 5 supports. That's a dead warlord."
Yeah.
That is true, too.
That's
It's a
the dude
great
That's the dude that ends games.
another shield, 2 cost shield, 2 shield.
Yeah, this is when
card.
you don't actually want to play as your shields.
No.
I think, hands down, this is a 3-of in any Astra Militarum deck.
I think it's expensive for what it does. Honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's huge, but
2 big keywords, man.
I think the big thing is you put this on a unit and you just basically tell your opponent, "Don't come here with your warlord."
The biggest
And
problem
you
is
can,
that
you can bully them with it, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
the biggest problem is that it's to trigger the ability you need to condition
Yep.
that your opponent has a chance to.
But that shuts down things like Anchi, it shuts down Ragnar, it shuts down those warlords who want to be at a planet
Yeah.
where their troops are fighting, and that's really good.
Tell me it's loyal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course it
it
is.
is.
Good God. We're not putting that on Brutal Orc cards, please.
Next up is the Mechanic Repair Crew. This is a 3-cost army.
Mechanic.
1 command, he's loyal, he's a 2/3. He is an odd boy. Have we seen odd boys before?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Action, exhaust this
awesome.
unit to ready a target orc support card you control, then deal 1 damage to this unit. So again, this is another, hey, that support card, let's go use it again, like orc cannon. you know?
The custom force field generator.
Yep.
Good lord.
Or
that thing doesn't need to go
teleporter
twice.
pad.
Yeah. The pad usually you can buff up the first planet enough with 1 use, but custom force field is let's not have someone actually die twice and let's spread out the damage for massive brutal counter swings.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to point out an important thing. This is not a mechanic; it's a mechaniac
Mechaniac, sorry.
because he's crazy.
I'm a mechaniac.
He's loco,
mechaniac.
He's got a command icon. Never bad
Yeah.
on a 3-cost
Yep.
guy.
And he's loyal?
Yeah, he's
yes,
loyal.
he's loyal.
So,
A lot of loyal cards.
it's on me now with Golf Big Choppa.
Choppa!
This is a 2-cost attachment. It's only got 1 shield. It's a war gear and it's a weapon attached to an army unit, so there's no warlords for this, and no vehicles. Actually, some vehicles, but probably not because it's war gear. Attached unit gets +2 attack and armor bane.
Damn, so many armor bane.
There's a big chunk of armor bane in this pack. This should have been.
It makes you wonder if they've been like, wow, there's too many shields in the game. Let's give armor.
It's definitely pushing me towards questioning shields as much, but still, they're still really good. This is cool. It's expensive for what it does. It's expensive, but and it telegraphs what's going to happen. But the fun thing with this is you can make Golf Chop, put the Choppa and the rocket launcher on something to make it really, truly broken. And then you're shooting big Choppas at people on and off it. Like,
the nice thing about it-
can mount an axe on the front of a rocket, right?
Well, that's the thing.
That's
Like,
legit. That's legit.
the nice thing about attack is it's such a generic stat, and they didn't put extra stats in for range like they did for AoE. So
Yeah.
anything that buffs the attack damage on a ranged unit is always going to be good. And I mean, that's fantastic. Like, oh, this guy's got a gun, but now he's got a big axe. He lets him
And
shoot
you
even
put this-
harder.
You put this on like the 2-cost 0-5 brutal guy.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden he's got a 2 attack and he's just getting better.
Yep.
Anything that's played with Nazdrag, as it gets, if your opponent doesn't kill it, which hopefully you're using custom force field and things like that, and shields to keep him alive long enough to make his big ass swing on something. Like
Yeah.
I see that, like someone with this is very easily one-shotting like a land raider.
And it's
or
not loyal,
Dreadnought.
so-
Yeah, it's not loyal. You hear that, Chaos players? Get you some armor bane.
God, that's
that was
disgusting.
1 cost support. Yeah,
Yep.
support. Location is called Ammo Depot.
Ammo.
Oh, I thought it looked like a bit of their
Like a Gargant or something?
Gargant.
No, it's just for tetanus.
Its location is action. Exhausted support to draw 1 card if you have 3 or fewer cards in your hand.
And
Awesome.
there was only some way to untap this and use it again.
Yes. No, you know what's
not
what's interesting is that you have. Oh, I can't find it. You have that dude. So I have I have 4. I used it. I had 3 cards. Used it. Draw my 4th. Now use this. Pen the shield to prevent the damage. Now I'm back to 3 to untap this to use it again. You know.
If you draw something you don't want, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little... But yeah,
But yeah, it's I think
You're
it's
looking
pretty
for
good.
combos where they may not actually be there, but
No, there is a combo.
there is.
Use
It's-
it
if
twice.
you want to burn cards off the top of your deck, I mean,
It's not top of your deck.
it's
yeah.
draw a card.
Yeah.
this card's
That's
completely
top of your
designed
deck.
if you're losing command struggles and you need to
Yeah.
get back into the game.
Or if command just came up in a funny way, where like
Yeah.
I've always felt when I play orcs, cards never quite seemed like the problem. It seemed like resources was. So I tended to play things like the Void Pirate that gets resources
Yeah.
and Promethean Mines, and tried to push command on the places where there was more resources than cards. So this is kind of a way to balance to push one way really heavy on the command struggle and still do.
And
this.
it's anti-choke.
Yeah, it's anti card choke.
No, you
Yeah,
can't
that's
have
right.
that.
Well, you still keep them the 3 cards in hand, so you can look at them and ditch one of them, but then they can draw a card.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Rotten Plague Bearers. 2-cost army, 1 command. They're a 0/2. They're a demon. They're a Nurgle, and you can exhaust this unit to deal 1 damage to a target unit at this planet. They're a 0/2 that.
They're a
Whoa.
1/2 that swings in any phase.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
the thing with them is they're what Chaos needed in the sense that they're a cheap command icon.
Yep.
Their ability is meh to me.
Meh.
It's a point of damage. A point of damage
It's a
doesn't
point
kill
of damage
things normally.
that isn't a swing, which means that you can do it during during the deploy phase to kill off command dudes at the same planet.
What's the most popular cards early game? Is the stupid pirates. Stick figure kills pirates. Eats pirates.
Remember, this is basically a 1/2 that doesn't use up your swing to swing.
I mean, I understand that.
And if you have the original Warlord, it's 2 damage.
if he's there. So
Oh.
are you going to commit your Warlord to a planet where these guys are at by themselves and hope to God you're going to kill some stuff? No,
This
I
one will
mean...
be funny. Angelo, he's basically 0 cost. He's got Fenrisian Wolf built in.
Yep.
Fenrisian Wolf is better.
Swing before the combat phase.
Fenrisian Wolf is better.
Swing before the combat phase.
Before range.
Swing before range. This is the best card ever.
But it's only a point of damage.
It's two if your Warlord's there. I don't know, it's good. I like it.
It's situational.
Nah, it's not situational, guys. Ignore Angelo.
Two cost command.com that gets a ping. There's this guy called Prodigal Sorcerer. Some of you may have played Magic. He was okay back in the day. Like, they may have given him a nickname or something called Tim.
Yeah.
He may have felt broken at the time.
Now, I will tell you this. The next card is actually really, really good. I like Nurgling Bomb.
No, it's terrible bad. What does it do? Nurgling Bomb. 3 cost event. 1 shield. Tactic Nurgle. Nurgle. Combat action. Target a planet. For each non-Nurgle unit at the planet, its controller must choose to either deal it 1 damage or rout it.
I love the
I love the art. It's like this giant fat demon that's like, come give me a hug.
If by a giant fat demon you mean a demon about this big, yes.
Yeah.
Because Nurglings are tiny. He is just jumping into the center of a squad of guard, and if he explodes, they all die.
No, he's about to teabag him.
It's a big old bag, too. Very cool. Kind of expensive for what it does, but basically, at a lot of planets, it's going to be like route half your guys there. Very strong. It's a combat action, so you can do it like mid-combat when they've just shielded a guy to keep him from dying. You say combat action, deal him another damage or rout him.
Now, I guess the important part to note here is you can damage your own crap with this.
Oh, absolutely. But if you're playing Kugath, you're probably running heavy on the Nurgle stuff, like the best card in the pack, Rotten Plague Bearers, or and his other stuff.
No, it's. And you can still use it on the original Warlord. That means 2 damage. Take 2 damage or rout him.
Unfortunately, that means your Warlord
is taking damage too.
Actually, no. I swing with my Warlord. 2 damage to all your dudes, and I rout my Warlord. And you choose. So you're like, I'm gonna rout the fuck out of here.
And some of the people don't understand.
Sorry.
This is not loyal. Orcs.
Yeah, orcs.
Original orc. Enable brutal.
Let's be brutal.
So it's interesting. I like it. And that was
me. So this is you. You get another one that's hard to say.
Throne of Vainglory. Yeah. That's legit.
Vainglory. Yeah,
sure. 3 cost support. Upgrade Slanesh. Wow, this Slanesh shows up here.
It's a sexy
action. Exhausted support to discard the top card of your deck. If the printed cost of that card is 3 or higher, put 2 cultist tokens into play at your HQ. I don't like it. It's the cost. The cost is so expensive.
It is, but you think about it this way. If you do this on turn 1, spend 3 to play it, tap it, dump a card off the top of your deck, get 2 cultists. Those 2 cultists will reduce your demon by 2.
You're assuming you're actually dumping a 3-cost card off the top of your deck. That was the problem.
Chaos kind of sucks at stuff lower than 3 cost.
Yeah.
Wait. Your favorite guy is only 2.
Fair. Fair. No, it's not my favorite guy. It's best card.
The problem
is a blatant lie.
Right now,
because that's coming up
with the meta it's
too slow.
It's too slow, and the meta is playing cards of the highest card you should be playing is 4. It's all the
and that hurts because there's so many good elite cards.
I know. There. I wish FFG listened to me. Just do something about the elites.
Yes, make them better. Make some way that they're more playable, other than whatever the planet is that lets you dump one into play for free.
I don't know if the solution is more reducers, because the game doesn't have that much reducers.
The problem with that is you need almost like a reducer that reduces only elite units.
Or, something like that.
Or something that lets you sacrifice dudes to reduce the cost of an elite unit.
The problem with the elites right now is they feel like they're a win harder. They're a win more card. If you have enough resources to afford putting an elite on the board that it's not going to prevent you from continuing to play the game, you're probably already so far ahead that you've won the game.
The problem is, for 5 resources, I'd rather have 2 guys.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's a win more.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a win more. It's actually like it's an economy thing where like a 5-cost guy gets to swing once, a 3-cost guy and a 2-cost guy get to swing twice and can be at the same thing or 2 different things.
That's what I'm saying. If you have the resources in hand, though, to get both out,
if you can
you're
play
already
both,
winning the game at that point.
If you can play both. But if not, the 2 dudes is better almost every time.
I think the keyword elite should have had a bonus, an ability. It says
straight damage reduction.
Straight damage reduction. Immune to I think it's immune to power. Immune to card.
Well, okay, so let's be fair.
Armor
Bane, or something different to make him special.
There are cards that specify non-elite cards.
Yeah,
but very few.
So
Yeah,
not a lot right now,
Yeah.
but maybe we'll see more of those coming in the future where it's like this only affects non-elites.
And
And
like,
that's more of an economy thing. They don't want Tau being able to spend 2 to route an 8.
like
card
I
that
think
costs more than 3 or 4.
Arkham's Terror should have been non-elite.
I
would agree.
disagree.
I-
No, you're right.
2 costs to get rid of my 8 cost guy. Jesus,
I routed a dragon yesterday.
You
It
know that
happens.
shouldn't be. And who's gonna scare a dragon? You can't scare a dragon.
The Dark Eldar, who
No,
are
it
crazy,
is.
psychotic, sadistic.
The Archon? No. I can't agree.
Okay.
All right,
Archon's
so
already
next
scary.
up is a 1-cost army. It's the Silith Mercenary. 2 command, he's a 2/2. He's a warrior. He is non-loyal. He has an action. Pay
non-loyal.
2 resources to take control of this unit. If it is at a planet, any player may use this ability. So we were talking about this in the shop the other day, Jesus and I.
This is
and
such a weird card.
I am on the fence about whether this is actually a good card or not. Only playtesting will actually determine whether I actually end up including it or not. So on the surface, it's a great card. I mean, 1 for a 2/2 with 2 command icons is fantastic. The problem is, at any point in time, your opponent goes, I'm taking your dude away from you. So the argument is, you play this guy as your last play during your turn after your opponent's passed. They're never going to take him during the command struggle. You win the command struggle, and then they want to take him after that. Oh, well.
They take him they take him as the first thing in combat.
Agreed. So now they have your card that you've spent 1 resource on. They've now spent 2. They're now winning the command struggle at that planet.
Unless
so now are
spend
you
2
really
to take it back?
now are you going to spend 2 and take it back the next turn just to take the command struggle back? Now, if he's sitting at a planet that's generating 2 resources a turn, maybe there's some real value in just doing that alone. But at some point, the math ends up working out to be very poor.
In my opinion, as long as you end up with him at the end of every exchange, and you can do the math to figure out whether you're going to or not, he's good.
Not if you're not netting credits off it. That's the problem. Or resources.
Here's the thing: if you deny your opponent 2 credits, basically if your opponent spends 2
Sure.
credits, then you spend 2 credits, and they don't have enough to buy them back again, then you've basically just taken you've choked out $2 on either side and broke even, and you still maintain the guy.
Couple of
And
things.
they should know that it's bad math and should not be stealing it.
Well, that's the thing, right? Your opponent just plays around it at that point by.
and then you got a free, crazy good stats command.
No,
ones.
I don't disagree.
Ryan, who thanks Ryan for coming for our tournaments. He came from all the way from Jacksonville.
Holy shit!
Yep,
Good
by
deal.
himself, and it's
Oh,
just,
wow.
it's a long drive. He made it to the top 4 last night, yesterday. He was playing this card, and I talked to him about it, and he was testing it out. He really liked it because most of the time the opponent forgot about it.
Well, okay, so that's the real problem. I will agree.
Most of the time they forgot about it, and me were discussing about it, and he told me, okay, would you play 1 cost, win a command struggle event? That's legit.
Yeah.
It's good. Then from now on, the opponent is gonna pay. Then would you pay 2 credits for a 2/2 with command?
Yeah.
Again, but then again, you don't do this early in the action. Here, steal it. Okay, play this, play. Oh, you got 1 credit, spend 2 credit. Got it. I'm going to command now.
But how many games, and I will tell you there's quite a few, because I play Dark Eldar almost exclusively here, do I end up passing before my opponent does? And that's where this bites you in the ass at the end of it. Because he'll steal it at the end of his
Dark Eldar has a ton of events, 0 cost. Raid, I'm passing my turn. Most of the time I see Dark Eldar.
Raid's a combat action, isn't it?
No, raid's
No, it's a deploy action.
Is it deploy?
No, it's an action.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
a deploy action. It's not a
it's a deploy.
combat. It is an
Okay.
action.
Okay, so they have a lot of events, cheap events that you're going to be playing before your opponent gets to deploying. So, I don't know.
When in doubt, play another one and negate there. Like,
I know, I mean, I
negate the one
agree.
they're stolen.
So-
I think the biggest thing, this isn't loyal.
Yes.
The real problem I see with
this
him
place
is
is
if he
chaos.
stays on the board long enough, he's going to screw you in combat. Because at some point in time, your opponent will take him in the middle of a fight and punch you with him, and then you're screwed. I mean, because that will eventually happen. No matter what planet you put him
you get
on,
an action to take him back before they get to swing.
Yeah.
it just becomes a credit fight. Who has more money?
Yeah,
He's
pretty much.
starving in credits.
You should be winning. You're Dark Eldar. You should be.
No, Dark Eldar doesn't win the. I win the card war. I do not win the resource war at all. Because if you have no cards, you have all the resources in the world. I mean,
Deck better. That's right. I'm like 0 for 18 in friggin' tournaments, so you should build your deck better.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, look, despise.
Angel despises this card.
I don't despise. I said I'm on the fence until he gets playtime in a deck. So
All right, so despise is a 0-cost event for
Another
Dark
0
Eldar.
cost.
Yeah, but this one's a combat action.
Yeah, so
what
it
you
doesn't
were saying earlier. 1 shield, tactic, combat action. Each player must sacrifice an ally unit he controls if able.
not an ally.
No, it's not. That really confused me.
it kills Void Pirates and Rogue Traders.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can force people to kill a pirate or a trader. It's a 0-cost, it's 1 shield. It's not horrible.
The problem is
But
it's early game.
Well, it's a combat action, so it's not going to
Yeah.
affect the command struggle that
Sure.
turn. I'd have to look. Honestly, I don't know if there are other odds and ends allies. Like I think the Kroot maybe cards are allies, but
So
most Tau aren't playing them.
The reason I like this card is because, the Survivalist is
Eldar
too.
Survivalist
Yes,
is
he
an ally.
But
That's legit there.
what makes this really good is in the last pack we got a card that every time you play a Dark Eldar event, it generates a Chimera token and gives you 1 resource. So this actually becomes, in the combat phase, gain 1 resource and a 2/1.
Yeah.
Which is really good. And not only that, I gain a
back to
resource, a
mercenary.
2/1, and you kill one of your guys that's capping planets.
Yep.
And that means in the next time we go over the command phase, it's even easier as me Dark Eldar now to choke you out even more. So
Yeah. No, it's any 0-cost
It's a
event.
0-cost. It's only 1
it
shield.
is not a torture though, which sucks.
It's not
but
torture.
yeah.
It's not torture, which is good.
So eventually it's going to be costing 1.
No, it just won't be played in that deck. I think playing it. So I think what you say is right. It plays with that Chimera generator thing, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And you get my favorite card out of the pack. Izzy.
I love this one.
Yes, and Angela had experience with it. 2-cost Army Warlock Destructor.
Yep.
1 command, 3 attack, 4 health, Psyker. Force reaction. After the deploy phase begins, play 1 credit or discard them. It's a very good card.
Fucking huge.
Okay, but and several people throughout the tournament, I was reminding them, hey, you have to pay this.
Yep.
You have to remember, the moment you spend your credits and you play another card, you cannot go back on this and try to do it.
Force reactions.
You know,
happen.
He gets discarded. Okay, it's not no takebacks, paid again. You know, so it's great, but it's another ability that you have to be paid attention.
I think this guy's
you know.
committing to fights for me every time. Like I'm
no,
gonna
yeah.
try to get him in the fight
Yeah.
every time because as a 3/4, you want him fighting. He's not there for winning commands.
No.
He's
he is there to beat face, take names, and
you want him-
Angelo played him.
and
you want
hopefully
him-
get killed before you have to spend a buck.
Exactly.
To keep
Well,
him.
no, you want him to die on turn 2 that he's been in play, because turn 1 he's still valuable as a 3/4 for 3 he's good. As a 3/4 for 4 he's iffy. As a 5/4 5 for 3/4 he's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want him in combat and hopefully dealt enough damage, absorbed enough damage that he's gone by the time you would have to pay that 5th buck for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can do it with him. I enjoyed him yesterday. He caught some people by surprise, and that's always what you want to do. And 4 health is something, especially as splashing him in a Dark Eldar, for example, that you don't see in Dark Eldar. 4 health is unheard of, so he gives you some beefy tanking ability too.
Just the 2 for a 3/4 is awesome. The command icon makes it better, and it's so good. Like I said, my favorite card out of the pack
Next up, we have
because I
the
play Eldar.
Eldritch Corsair. It is a 3-cost army, not loyal. 1 command. He's a 2/3, or she, depending on if that's a male or a female in the artwork there. Warrior, and is that Iandan?
Yep.
Iandan. This unit gains +2 attack while I was out of playing with the Warlord. Again, we've already seen these in
White
other
Scar
places.
Bikers.
It's
Yep.
They were
another.
good then. They're good now.
Put him with
the
the
same
Warlord.
cost. Everything.
No, it's the exact same
It's
card.
basically the exact same card, just for Eldar.
With different
I'm okay
keywords.
with that.
And Eldar needed some dudes who were decent, who were like a little bit big. Yeah, the 2/3 is pretty standard to Eldar, but 4 attack is much better.
Well, you get that with Starbane's Council too. So
Still, Starbane's Council turns into a 5/3.
yeah. So
But
Oh, but I was telling you, there was no Eldar in the tournament.
really,
No Eldar.
just splash Eldar.
I wasn't here.
Yeah, but
I wasn't here. No Eldar gets played. People lose the tournament. I'm not surprised.
So my favorite.
I
card
wasn't
of
even
the
talking
pack-
about Angelo specifically. I was talking about everyone but Johnny. Kudos, Johnny. Crushed that
Yes.
with like freaking.
This is actually my
crushed
favorite
that
card of the
tournament
pack,
with
by the way, too.
corsets.
Out of all the
Okay.
cards in the
Sort of
pack, this is my favorite.
All right, Angelo's favorite card. It's terrible. It's called Foretell.
Yeah,
It's
this
a
is terrible.
0-cost event. It's got 1 shield. What does it do? It's a power. It's a maneuver. Interrupt. When a battle ability cancels, exhaust your warlord to cancel its effects, then draw 1 card. I agree. This is awesome.
Okay, I got to rant about it.
The stupid planet that does 1 damage to a friggin' HQ or an adjacent planet. Never again.
More importantly-
suck it. Whatever that planet is called.
How many times do you see people commit their warlords to the planet that removes damage from a character, especially when there's a
Yep.
crap ton on their warlord? You're not healing yourself, and you just wasted your warlord's combat action going to that planet.
Yep. You have to have your Warlord untapped for it, but
That's usually going to happen, right? So if you're not in a pitch battle,
as long as it's not the first planet, you put your Warlord to the first planet, and then they come
exactly.
home. And by the time the rest of the planets go off, you're like, no.
Yep. Have a nice day.
Or alternatively, you put your Warlord all the way out to planet 5 and wait for assuming
just do it then too.
Yeah, and just do it then, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna planet on my own, whatever.
I'm the reason why I know the card's amazing. Very strong, powerful. I think he's going to.
Are you gonna say the broken core mechanic of the game?
It's not loyal, and I like it's not Eldar unit or Warlord that has to be exhausted.
That's a good point.
So like, this could be splash another
Dark Eldar and Tower can play this.
Yeah.
That's kind of dangerous, actually.
What it pisses me off right now is that now you're having Eldar can cancel your events. Eldar can tap your guys. Eldar can bring stuff from the graveyard.
Cancel faction.
But why give it all to one faction?
Because you have to have your jerk faction.
Well, the same reason why Dark Eldar has all the discard mechanics, because that's factions are designed.
I know, but now that's the problem. They're having more than just that. You know,
no, they're not. They're the cancel. They're the denial cancel faction. That's what Dark Eldar is.
They shouldn't.
They're Lannisters. I mean, if you look at Eldar and compare it to Game of Thrones, they are Lannisters. They kneel you out and they cancel all your stuff.
But that's right. Kneel and nullify. Okay, done.
They do
cancel. But now they're messing around with planets.
But that's cancel though. It's still cancel.
No. Cancel can cancel anything. I'll cancel your draw. I'll cancel you drawing cards. I can't even play the game.
Whoa. We know Fantasy Flight watches. Don't give them ideas.
You know, cancel's a big word.
Apparently, Jesus hates cancel. He
no,
hates
I don't.
blue and
I
magic
cancel.
apparently too.
It's just you don't give everything to one faction. And that's what I'm.
Unless you're Magic.
But that makes them unique.
It's not unique.
It's the unique defining factor of each of those factions.
But that was my rant.
I think that should be loyal, honestly. But
I don't know. I still think they should have. I think they should have given it to another faction, to be honest. But
what other faction really does all that, like the crazy psychic stuff on the massive scale?
No,
Dark Eldar. I'll take it.
Not even close.
This would have been kind of awesome to be chaos. No, don't pass it, but chaos. Chaos corrupts a planet. It makes them useless. So that makes sense to them. That stupid little Eldar guy. Oh, my planet doesn't work no more. You know, it's kind of stupid. But that's me.
You gotta make your ears pointy and do the prissy girly dance while you're at it.
That's my rant. I'm done. I think it's a strong pack.
I think it's actually the first time he's ever ranted on this.
I know. Dude,
me and Angelo go at it most podcasts, and it's good. It's good. We need some of this. It's exciting podcasting action as I bang the table and mess up the microphone.
But no, it's cool. If you look at it, Eldar is very much they basically took Lannister with the exception of the discard mechanic, and they said we're going to make Eldar into the Lannisters.
They took Lannister and split them between Eldar and Dark Eldar,
which I think is cool because you can splash as Dark Eldar or Eldar, either one of those two mechanics. Vice versa.
Now we feel good about hating the elves again, right?
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna be lion elves.
Can you guys stop cussing? I have to either edit it out or flag the cast as like PG-13 or something explicit.
So I think it's a great card. I think the Warlord is a great addition to Tau.
I think that Rotten Plague Bearers are amazing.
Yes, you're happy finally get a good Chaos card.
There's a decent. The Chaos has been steadily getting good command units throughout this block. And I hope they continue to get more.
Chaos lost the core set war, but they're doing very well, and the cards are picking up.
Especially I've seen people. I haven't played him yet, but people playing Kugath locally seem to love him. So.
I played against him yesterday.
I've heard he's okay if you're regular, and if you get the banner on him, he's nuts. It also the Plague Bear, the Kugath's Nurglings lead to some of the dumbest interactions I've ever seen. There was like a page and a half post on how it actually works. If you have people moving to a planet with multiple Nurglings at it. Basically, force reactions only trigger if the unit is still alive, and you choose what. If you're the first player, you choose what order they trigger in. So your opponent moves dudes to be with Kugath's Nurglings, and you move dudes to be with Kugath's Nurglings, or you move in with Kugath's Nurglings. You choose to do all of your force reactions on them first, and then you trigger the two of them so that your dudes only take the force reactions from one.
Yep.
It is a really stupid.
So you kill one of them?
You end up killing one of them with the first two force reactions on your side. You wow. When you trigger on your dudes is you trigger for Nurgling 1 does his damage to himself, and then Nurgling 2 does his damage to Nurgling 1 and takes him out. So now all your dudes are only taking a damage from Nurgling 2. Where your opponent's dudes have all taken damage from both.
Interesting.
It's weird. It was a weird way for it to work. It's how they've worked. The force reactions have worked all the time. There just hasn't been a massive number of forced reactions all off of a single trigger before. That's new and exciting to this.
All right, guys. Well, that's a pack review. Hope you enjoyed.
Give to the Ethereals.
Stay
Thumbs
tuned
up,
for
both of them.
more of the Warlord cycle.
Pretty soon we got
who's next?
Zognut.
I think it's the Orc.
Orcs next, right?
Yeah.
So Orc IG and then
And Dark Eldar's last.
Eldar and Dark Eldar last.
Yeah, makes me sad.
So
Excited.
okay, guys, thank you for watching, and see you guys later.
Have a good one.
Bye.